I'll just give you a quick little bit of my background. I grew up with a single mum who had some struggles herself through addiction and stuff, and I always felt like I didn't belong. Like I didn't belong to my own family. I didn't belong anywhere, and through some of her choices in life, we moved around a lot. And I think when I was in primary school, I went through like 9 moves in 2 years or something we moved. So I never got the chance to fit in anywhere, or I never felt right in myself, and through her struggles, she had her own demons. But I guess for me, I went looking for something else. And so when I was 12, I left home, I took a stroll down Struggle Street myself. It's funny when I look back at it now, and I look and I can actually see God's hand in my life. I was 13 and I was found by the old church at the Royal that used to run a street team. I was found living in the old wool sheds down on the harbour, and they took me in and they put me in a refuge, and for a few weeks. But of course I ran away. I had my own journey to walk down. So I guess a life of trying to find that hole that I had, that that part of me that was missing, that I'd always had, like, ever since I was little, and I guess I searched for it in all the wrong places, drugs, alcohol, relationships, all that sort of stuff, and for me, it was a 32-year journey of, dark times and struggles. And of course, through that leads to, supporting yourself in ways that, I'm not proud of, but through that, it got me a criminal record, and I ended up going to jail. And, that was a pretty harsh time in my life. And I was given the option to go to the Glen for Women on the Central Coast, the rehab. So I went there and ticked the boxes to get out the door within 4 months. And I didn't have anything in my life then except still the trouble from my past that followed me out the gate when I left. And within 6 weeks later, I found myself back in jail again. And then I had the option to go to the rehab again. And, through my desperation and absolute brokenness, like spiritually bankrupt, I decided to, want to change my life. And it was through, the darkness of that second time in jail where I attempted to take my life, but that failed. Something happened to me in there then, and that shifted something inside of me, and I don't know, I don't know how to describe it, but I can give it to you in a poem that I wrote. So this is a poem that I wrote probably after about 6 months in, when, I'd sort of started to find myself again and found faith in my life. And just quickly on that, there's been so many times in my life when I know God's been calling me and I just hadn't listened. Heaps of times in my addiction days, but also when I was at the rehab, I wanted to learn more about this God, this amazing God that everybody was talking about. And I asked to do Bible studies. I was the only one there that wanted to do it. But I asked to do it, and it was, this one day we were sitting on the veranda and there was like no breeze whatsoever. And then all of a sudden it was just like, and my hair went and everything, and like, I'm like, did you see that? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, wow. And yeah, and then it was probably about a week after that, I was traveling down to visit my babies, because I have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old who are in care at the moment, that I'm working on to get back in my life. But on the spare seat on the train was a book, and it's literally called, I've still got it today, it's called How to Find Your Holy Spirit. Yeah. So So anyway, I'll share this poem with you. Just, yeah. Oh, my head, my messy, messy head. How many times I've wished that you were dead. The loneliness, the fear, the darkness, full of overwhelming dread. The countless tears, pain, the heartache and sorrow. How many nights I hoped for there to be no tomorrow. My life ripped away in 1,000 different ways. I had always felt so lost, trying to grab hold of happiness no matter what the cost. My road, well, it's taken me some places. Through the darkness, I've even seen demonic faces. I've felt the fire pit when my life had turned but from somewhere in that dark vast, I heard a voice that said I could move on from my past. I had never heard this voice before, and the quieter that I became, amazingly, I could hear more. It's funny, in my silence, I could now hear a mighty roar, that a sense of peace was knocking at my door. I felt a warmth, a gentle, soft glow, and just right then I knew that my heart had grown. I felt it on my insides, I felt it in my head. No longer did I now wish that I was dead. Something had washed over me. Quite clearly I could see that the beautiful Holy Spirit had just moved inside of me. You're shaking. It's filled my life with joy, wonder and delight. It's filled my heart with warmth, with love and even with light, that no longer am I afraid to go to sleep at night. So now I hold such beauty. If only you could see, I get to sit and enjoy finally what it's like to be me. Through all this awe and wonder of this amazing space, I get to know what it feels like to feel God's grace.